But to be honest, guys, we're probably going to stick with MV because there's a number of reasons why. Main one is plugin compatibility and lack of resources when the new one comes out. It's called RPG Maker MZ, I think. Yeah, so it usually takes a while for the community to build up a kind of lots of resources and support for it, and it'd probably be pretty basic for a while. And we have so many cool plugins for our game for MV, and a lot of those probably won't be compatible with the new RPG Maker engine. And from what I can say, I mean, there's very little information on it so far, but from what I can see, there's not really much difference. It's like a RPG Maker MV.2 from what people are saying. So it's interesting to know what they'll do differently. I am intrigued. But yes, it's an interesting one. But yes, I suppose it makes sense that there's a new one coming out, because MV has been out a few years. But if it's going to just be the same as MV and not much difference, then yeah. You aren't overworking yourself, are you, Rose? Well, I feel like I just kind of am a bit obsessed with doing this project, so maybe I am. But I'm just the sort of person that if I wasn't doing this, I would be very bored and wouldn't know what else to do. So, you know, I've got to do it. And at least finish episode 1 in MV and then experiment with the new one. Yeah, it's just, it also feels like, would it even work if we switch for episode 2 onwards? Because to me, if plugins aren't going to be compatible, it'd completely change our game. We'd have to like rethink, do different things. And I want the episodes to remain consistent with how the features we have and the plugins that we have. And so whatever we use for episode 1, I'm probably just going to stick with it throughout the whole game. I'm not one of these people that have to use the latest thing, especially if that latest thing's very basic and there's not much support or resources for it, and it's not much of an improvement. And there are still people out there who are still making games in RPG Maker 2003 and RPG Maker XP and stuff. So, and hi Arctic, how you doing today? I'm very much the same, yeah. I just have to be creative and do something creative. I feel guilty and weird when I like just play a game or do nothing. I feel like I've got to stop and actually do something productive. Rose does overwork, but that's why we are here to support her. Oh, thank you, Azran, and you're an awesome support. You know, if you want to like do something and you it's important to you, then you have to work hard. You don't get anywhere from not doing it. So hi Eulogy, how you doing? It's good to see you. I was reading the forums on the new one. From what I read, it seems like they will be using a new engine. They also said that plugin devs have had access to the new engine for a while. Yeah, about 60-70% of the plugins that I use for MV are by a creator called Janfly, and they're no longer creating plugins. They will not be doing plugins for the new engine. So it would, in all honesty, I'd have to completely change how we've already done things, and I'm not prepared to do that, because Janfly's plugins are absolutely wonderful and have helped the project a lot. Changed it so much from the vanilla, and Janfly recently retired, so they won't be doing plugins for the new engine. And yeah, I'm sure there'll be other creators that come up with other plugin ideas, as there always is, but I'm also one of these people that once I've worked hard on something and implemented it and have spent months doing it, having to restart it all just for the sake of the new engine coming up, it would be a bit of a headache for me, and I would only move to the new engine if everything was 100% going to be compatible still. If they said it was, then that's fine, and it was a good engine, and you know, it was an easy job, you know. But if it was going to be a headache, then it's not worth the extra potential months and months of development of redoing everything. And yeah, most folks said they want those plugins in the new one. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, so I'm most likely we won't be moving to the new one, but it's not 100% now. If it ended up being that there was an announcement saying all of the plugins are compatible, all of them are going to work on the new one, then it probably would be easy enough to switch then. But yeah, I don't know if that'd be likely. So because there's a lot of plugins I've got very attached to, a lot that are very good. And probably will wait to start my game once I see the new engine. Yeah, and for anyone who's not even started the game yet and was considering using RPG Maker, then I suppose it's great timing for you guys, because you can jump right in on the new engine. But it might take some time for some support and resources and plugins to actually come available. But who knows, maybe it'll be great. There are a lot of sceptical people on the forums though that are saying there's not much difference, but yeah, we gotta wait and see, I guess, haven't we? But anyway, I have done another command. I was meant to have done this a while ago, and it was actually Azrael that made me think that it needs to be done, because Azrael's been super supportive with Humble Bundles, and that is one way to support me. You know, it's an easy way to support me, getting a Humble Bundle, because part of the cash goes to me. I checked my revenue the other day and I had over £100 in there, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's good. So, you know, that every little bit helps, and helps support me while I'm doing the development. So I thought, yeah, I'll add it as a command, because there's always something really useful on there. There's an RPG development bundle on there at the moment, as well as a few other cool ones, so feel free to have a look. I buy most bundles anyway, so may as well send it your way. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it, Azrael. Haven't looked into it. They have said if it will still be JavaScript. Yeah, see, I'm not even sure whether it will be JavaScript. It might be a whole new language. So if it's a completely different one, it's very unlikely, you know, that the current project we've got, the Raindrop Chronicles, will even be the same as it is now. It would probably take months of me redoing the whole thing, and I don't know if that'd be worth it. But yes, so right now I'm not going to think about too much about the new engine, but I'm going to keep my eyes open still, just in case it happens to be MV.2 and I say, yeah, MV, because some people were discussing porting their project over from MV, but other people are like, nah, I'll stick to MV. Everybody's different, I guess. But I'm just, I'll just say, I'll go with the flow and see how things go. Some simple enough. If it's easy to port and worth it and not a headache, I'll do it. If it is a headache, nope, then I won't. So we'll just say. Unreal Engine 5 does look good, but Unreal Engine 4 kills my laptop, so not much hope for me. Oh no, kills the laptop. All right, guys. Okay, so where are we? Oh yes, I almost did a blank on what we was doing. Right, so we had these polls the other day, and they're going to be closed now. They're closed. So thank you for your votes, guys. We've got a few in, managed to get the vampire ones in. So some of them, we've got some very clear winners. Others were a little bit closer, but I'm tempted to close it right now because I can see that first one is pretty close with the votes. And if we get a draw or a tie, that'll kind of make things a bit awkward for us. So it's probably best to close the poll now, before we get a tie on that first one. So I'm gonna get the print screen get all these saved on Paint, because I like to keep record of our polls. So I'll get all these print screened, delete them, and then we'll look at who was the winner and we'll get all the icons ready. So now these three are getting deleted, guys, so those I've already saved the screenshot for those ones. I'm pretty glad I got all those skills in for us, because I wasn't sure if we would, but we successfully did, so hooray. We have a few less votes on the vampire ones, but still fine. We've still got some clear winners there, so. Okay, so they're all saved, I think, now. And we'll see what's won, and we'll make the icons look as cool as possible, because it was a bit of a rush job on Wednesday stream when we did the recoloring, because I just literally put a colour overlay over them, and so they were all a neutral colour and there was no bias, but I'd like to spend some time actually doing a proper recolour of some of them. And yeah, we'll stick to like a consistent colour scheme for each class, but I'd like some of the icons to look a little bit nicer. We want to do them justice, the recolouring. So I'm intrigued to know how you guys go about recolouring in Photoshop. Like, what methods do you use? Those of you that do a lot of Photoshop work here, because we all have our own approach, I guess, and some of them are more effective than others. Let's get up our... Where's our warrior one? one thing I need to do is organise my files and folders, because one thing I have a problem with is finding everything. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, so we just put a quick colour overlay over loads of them, and it doesn't make them look as bright and as beautiful as I want them to, you know. It kind of has dulled a lot of the icons doing that, so I want to do the recolouring properly. I don't tend to like using the hue and saturation, because I think it kind of makes the colours look really ugly when you recolour them that way, personally. And I don't mind using the selective colour. That can look a lot better doing it with selective colour, I find. But somebody mentioned colour mapping or something and saying that I could do it that way, and I was actually a little bit unsure what they meant by that. I've never used that method myself, so makes me curious about if there's any more effective colour changing methods out there. But first of all, let's just get the icons that won the polls up first and get that organised. And I also just wanted to like ask folks today a few questions on skills, but we can do that anytime in the stream, really. Okay, I'm thirsty. Okay, so warrior first. So the one that won for warrior, let's get paint up so you guys can see this too. Now, I just want to check something before we start, because I had a Windows update yesterday. Again, oh my god, there's a Windows update like every week now, it feels. And sometimes it does reset a lot of my settings, sound settings, and so I'm just going to double check everything's cool with my mic. Yeah, it is. Sometimes the sound levels get reduced to like 70% instead of 100, and it can be a bit frustrating because then I realise my mic's not as loud. But yeah, okay. Hi Jimmy, hi, long time no see, how are you doing? How's the game going? All right, Jimmy. I mean, we've had I had a tiny hiatus this month, so things have been on the pause. But I always find that can be very beneficial because you come back feeling refreshed and ready to go. But yeah, we're working on some skill stuff at the moment because we're very much due to get that polished. I'm aiming for a first playable build to be released in the summer, and the main things that need to be done before that gets released is the skills, get the skill tree all working and properly tidied up, and everything to do with the enemies and first boss all needs perfecting. And other than that, it's the first two main quest cutscenes need to be 100% finished and cool, and everything just needs to be tidied up and make sure there's no bugs and everything's working smoothly and all is so yeah, we're getting there. I hope you've been well, Jimmy. Okay, so the winner of poll 1 was this one. It was a close one, guys. It was a very close one because this one here was very close to being the winner. And this one has won poll 2 by quite a lot, and part of me is sort of glad that this one won instead, now I think about it, because those two look very, very similar, which is nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, if two icons look similar, it could make people get confused what skill is which. Though this one is a passive, so that won't be a skill in the menu in battle. The player will just automatically have that skill naturally. Whereas this one is a skill you actually use in battle. Kung, how are you doing? Hi chat, hope you're well. My headset has stopped working so I can't hear you, but I'll stay around here anyway. Say the cool polls yesterday, exciting. Oh, Kung can't hear me anyway. I'm gonna write in chat then so Kung can hear me. There we go. Okay, so our icon, that one was this one. No, this one for adrenaline. So let's get rid of that colour overlay for now. Just so we can see it as it should be. And I am going to change the colour scheme to the sort of orange that we'll use for Warrior, but I want to do it so it looks prettier. Because the way that looks, I don't think the outline here is bright enough. Whereas when the colour lay isn't over it, the red is super like eye-catching and looks quite nice. And I want to do the same when we recolour that into an orange. Because we're not going to have it red because that's going to be the vampire colour. And I kind of think it's more aesthetically pleasing to have each class icons kind of have their own distinct colour scheme. Okay, so Frenzy was the D was the winner for that one, as we can see here. Well, you can't, so because paint is being weird. Let's get it up properly. So for some reason paint, yeah, there we go. Okay, so that D won by quite a long way, guys. Keyboard ASMR, indeed, keyboard ASMR. You gotta love a bit of keyboard ASMR to be in this stream. I tell you that, because if you're not into keyboard ASMR, you'd get a bit annoyed, I think, because I'm always doing this. It can't be helped. How you doing, Moon? And Wobble Monster, I like your name. Oh, it's Womble Monster, not Wobble Monster. Still a good name, though. Still a great name. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so this one, let's get the colour overlay off that one as well. And for Warcry, it was the Shouting Man that won, I believe. I'm gonna... Oh, hang on. Yeah. Okay. So there we go. I'm not gonna save over this file because I want to keep it with all the icons because it's cool, and we can use it for the future then as well. And Squish It was... Everybody liked the first one. A lot of people voted for the same one. There we go. So yeah, let's just we can change those to orange, but so it's prettier. I'm not a fan of the colour overlay, it just makes it look dull. I mean, yeah. Still look fine, but I just like it to look a bit more vibrant. This is the best keyboard ASMR stream. Ah, thank you, Eulogy Master. I have been known to be a bit of a wobble monster on occasion. Oh, really? Well, we all wobble from time to time. That makes no sense. But yeah, both of them are great names. I like Monster. Monsters are cute. They're cute. They're adorable. Even the ugly ones. Every creature needs love. That's my motto. Okay, so we got the hunters and vampires to do as well, but let's recolor these ones first. I don't even know how I'm going to go about the recoloring. I'm going to just do it the way I think. But guys, if anybody in here is a bit of a design guru, even more than me, then feel free to tell me your method of recoloring things, because I'm totally up for knowing how people do this sort of thing. Because I used to, when I was at college, I used to just use hue and saturation, but look how gross that can look sometimes. It just doesn't do it justice. But then I started using selective colour, but that can take forever. It can take absolutely forever to get the colours you want that way. Oh, I'm definitely an ugly one. No, nobody's ugly here. Everyone that comes here is awesome. The opposite of ugly. Great choices. Yeah. Hi, National. And thank you, Drew, for that host, by the way. How are you doing? Oh, colour mapping. First, hi, Rose. Great to see you. Have you seen each individual section of the artwork to a colour that you are for sure not going to use, like teal or green with the warrior, and then when everything is off colour, set the sections to the colour that you like? Yeah, is that what colour mapping is then, National? Because that did get mentioned a few times last stream by people, I noticed, and I was like, afterwards I was like, how do we do colour mapping then? It's one method I've never done in Photoshop. But if a few of you have said it, it must be the best approach, or one of the best approaches. I would select a colour range and change it. Colour range? I like to make pixel art that way. Yeah, I think all in all, guys, I just want the method where we get the best quality looking icons here, because in all honesty, I feel that the colour overlay that we did, the quick way, just makes it dull. Do you know what I mean? Like, look at the difference between this red one at the top here when it's red, and when I put the orange colour overlay, it looks like super. It makes it just dull, doesn't it? It's not bright and vivid. So I want the orange when we recolour it to just be really nice and vivid, and just make the icon look super cool and keep that good quality of colour. And yeah, I do find that some methods I've been using to change colour make them look worse, not just as good or better. I'll be honest, I'm just here for my deep English accent fix. Joke, I'm also here because my 4-year-old loves you. Oh really? Your 4-year-old loves me? That's really sweet. Oh my goodness, Moonshadow. 733 raindrops. My goodness. You're getting loads. Well. Okay, guys, so I'm intrigued by this colour mapping thing, and I'm intrigued by the colour range thing, because I'm not even sure how I do that, guys, because I only ever use the hue and saturation thing. Let's just get Photoshop up so you can see this method, which is the terrible method in my opinion, the easy terrible method, or the selective colour tool. They're the ones I tend to mess with the most. Like, that's pretty nice, it's made it look yellow, but you know, I want it more orange. Well, there we go, that's sort of orange, but you know, maybe there's other ways to do it. What are you working on today? Oh, well, this week, since Wednesday, since I've been back, we we've been having a look into skill icons. We've got this massive set here, and we put up some polls last stream where we did a vote on what everybody's favourite skill icons were for our first 12 skills in the game. And these were the 4 that won for Warrior's first 4 skills. So at the moment, I'm thinking about how we're going to go about recoloring these 4 icons, because as you can see, they're all a different colour scheme. Naturally, these icons are, and I think it would be cool if we can have a consistent colour scheme for Warren. Orange is the colour that I've thought of, so bringing in some orange on each of these colours here would be cool. These look great. They are. They're very awesome. Awesome pixel art. I can explain when I get to my desk. Oh, well, thank you, Van. I appreciate you guys being patient with me and teaching me the ways. There are a few ways to recolor with low effort. I see you've discovered the hue offset method already. Yeah. See, like, I've used Photoshop for, like, how long now? Over a decade. But you know, sometimes I've spent most of that decade being really lazy with how I do things, like using hue and saturation, which I don't personally think gets the best looking colour, because we could easily just do that and then be like, yeah, that's orange now, we'll have that. I could easily be like that, but I don't know. I think it's only really this red here I want changing to orange, not so much the rest of it. But when you use hue and saturation, it recolours the whole thing and it can make it look a little bit icky. One route I love is to add a layer of solid colour and then use a blending mode to affect the image underneath, but sometimes that's too monochrome. Oh yeah, Drew, that is exactly the method I used last time because it was quick. I just stuck an orange blending mode colour overlay over it, over all of them. So this is what they all look like when I do that. But you know what I mean? I think I'm in agreement with you there. It looks too monochrome, if that's the word. It dulls them. The brightness of them has faded with that method, and it kind of doesn't show them off to their fullest potential, like how they are naturally, in my opinion. So I wasn't sure about that method in the end, although it was a quick way to do it before, just for the sake of the polls. I'd like to spend a bit more time making them look more appealing if I can. It's not laziness, if it's efficiency. Good point, Connie. If you mask that solid colour layer, you could selectively apply it to only parts of the image. Yes, it's typically nicer to maintain a 2 or 3 colour palette, yeah. So, with me though, I'm terrible at instructions, so I'm like, oh, but at the same time, I wanna do this properly and have the best looking icons if I can. Because I've seen people use adjustment layers sometimes, but I'm very lazy with adjustment layers. I tend to just do it without an adjustment layer sometimes. What you're doing right there looks like a stellar method. Yeah, the thing with me, I'm very fussy, and I do something and I'm like, oh, I don't know about that, but sometimes that's the best it can be. But I'm so fussy that it's still not good enough for me. Adjustment layers are fantastic because they make it easy to do non-destructive editing, yeah, for sure. So because I'm intrigued, like a few people have said colour mapping, and there was another method's colour range, and I'm like, what are they? What are they? Because all I know is selective colour, and I'm using that on an adjustment layer now. And you know, using selective colour isn't bad. It's definitely better than the colour overlay, I think. I've just made that red a bit more orange and it doesn't look too bad. Welcome back, Van. Colour mapping is scary, but I'm sure it's a great option. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, Drew. I'm like, oh no, something out my comfort zone. But if it's like the best way of doing it, it makes sense that people do it that way. But it can definitely be a bit daunting. Okay, so I think the main thing is I want to bring in the same colour so it's consistent, and it doesn't have to be all that same orange, of course, because that's what the colour overlay did and it tended to look dull. But if we can at least bring in one of the oranges, I think that'd be cool in making it look consistent, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm rambling. I'm finding you a quick tutorial. Oh, thank you, Van. The way you selected only the outer colours is a great way to then fill a separate layer with something like solid white, which can then be used for selective adjustments. Oh, right. Okay. Well, I'm glad I was sort of there. That's cool. But I'm still definitely a little bit... Ooh. Okay. So... let's see what happens if we change this yellow. I've just used the colour picker now for that, but it's made it look lame because it doesn't blend in with the background nicely. That colour. So it is a tough one. I really am not sure how to go about this. The easiest thing to do is the colour overlay, honestly, but I'm not satisfied. I think it ruins the beautiful icons we have. I mean, they're so stunning, and the colour overlay dulls them. So I just want them to look pretty, like they deserve to look. I'm sure one of your regular friends in here will be more helpful. Oh, no worries, Drew. I get confused all the time. It just always happens. It's not your fault. Thank you, Van. I get confused by anything because I don't process instructions well at all. It's one of my struggles. Okay, I'm watching this tutorial now. This is an interesting one, colour range. I've honestly never used colour range before, so I'll have a little mess with that. It looks like they're just having a mess around with the colour range. So I'm going to experiment with that myself and see what we can do. So what was it under colour range? Did it show us that bit? Select, that's it. Here we go. Oh, it's doing it to all of them. Try that video, it should help guide you a little. It should allow you to use eyedropper, the colour, and zero and what you want to change. Oh, cool. People like to toss programming dies at me via stream chat, and that does me virtually no good, especially if I'm not looking for help at the time. I know the struggle. Yeah, I'm very much a visual learner, so for example, Van sending me that video is going to go much better than written instructions for me, just because I've never been one to grasp written instructions very well, and eventually I will, but I have to read them about 10 times to grasp it properly, especially when you're streaming. It's even more of a challenge, I find. And since this is just pixel art, there is limited amount of colour, so you should be able to zero in on what you want to pick. You might want to put each of them on a different layer. Yeah, they're all on a different layer, but yeah, I don't know if there's a way for the colour range to only get a layer, because right now it's got the whole like the whole canvas, even though they are on separate layers. So maybe they've got to go on different image files, but I kind of wanted them to be next to each other so we can at least get them consistent in colour, because if they're on separate image files it's going to be hard to know if we've got the same orange. So yeah, also I'll put this back to how it was originally, I think. There we go. Editing the colours one by one might be awkward with gradients though. We'll experiment. Okay, so we have to turn them all off. I've got a ton of layers here. I've got loads up. It's a struggle. I've got like bazillion layers. I should have deleted the ones I didn't need, in all honesty. Not most organised today. Okay, so I'm confused, but that's not surprising. I'm gonna watch the video again. So they use the eyedropper tool, and then what? Because I'm watching this on mute, by the way, because I'm one of these people that have to do it as well to learn. That helps me more as well. But nothing's happening to the image. Sorry, I'm a massive noob. And also you guys probably can't even see. I don't have display capture up. I always have window capture up, and the window capture doesn't show up the pop-ups for you guys. But it's for my own, it's for privacy reasons. So, but yeah, I'll just put it up temporarily so we can see. Worst comes to worst, send the file to me. This video might be clearer, and turn on closed captions. Oh yeah, I probably should. Okay, so right now I thought I'd mess in the colour range myself, and I'm not understanding it clearly because nothing's changing. So I am gonna have to watch the tutorial properly to grasp this, because I'm just flummoxed. I'm ashamed of myself as someone who's used Photoshop since college. you just get attached to your own way of doing things, I find, and you don't realise that there's all these other features available. So you are fine-tuning your selection. Good luck, Rose Rainbow, with all the millions of little things to learn. Gotta leave you like, thank you, Drew. Okay. So once you've hit OK, you'll select the area, so then you can change that bit of colour. Oh, okay. So this isn't actually the colour changing bit. That's what you're saying. Sorry if I'm completely off, by the way. Okay, so I basically colour picked the yellow there, so it's highlighted the yellow bit now. And I guess it's thinking of the best way to change the colour now, I guess. I suppose adjustment layer's the most sensible thing to do, even though I'm scared of them. Okay. So as you can see, it has grabbed some colour. So it sort of worked. I think I'm sort of doing it right. Wait, now you take a lasso and remove the parts you don't want to use. Oh, okay. Yeah, because it is a bit confusing which ones I have selected and which ones I don't. So there we go. So let's just go back. There we go. It's probably better I copy the layer though and hide it, because I don't actually want to delete the whole thing. There. We didn't have anti-alias on, I hope, because I want to get rid of our beautiful pixel art. Okay, never done that right. So I did it's grabbed the outline, the yellow outline, and some of the slightly darker yellow here where the flames are. I think really what I want changing is the red though. That's the bit I want to make more orange really, not that bit. So I should do this again. Let's get it back. So there we go. So it's grabbed the red bits now. Have I done that right? This is like trying to watch my mom send an email. Yeah. Basically, that's me when I'm trying to learn something new. Hi, Moon Shadow. Welcome back again. Okay. So I don't know why I've gone back to... But, you know, this method does seem to be a good way. I'm just wanting to recolour it properly and not with good colours, I guess. That's worked. We're getting more than orange here. What do you think, guys? We did it. We changed the red to orange. If those are the ones you want to change, yeah. So, yeah, let's get the other icons up and get them looking a similar colour scheme. I've completely lost them, though, because I still have all the other layers from, there we go. Where's the last one? Okay, so let's see what happens when we change this red one. I'm gonna have to hide all the other layers now though, aren't I? Okay. It'd be nice if that colour range tool like let you use it without having to hide everything. I think that would be a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the red on that. We'll see how this looks. Yeah, I thought that might happen. It's only changed part of the face. So I think we need to make sure we... Oh, so if you lock them, then it doesn't affect them. Cool. Yeah, you have to unlock them each time, but you can keep them up. Yeah, that's probably actually the best way, because hiding them, it takes forever to find them again. Okay, so we need to... Because I've got it on max, so I thought that'd do the job, but obviously it didn't grab enough. Is that grabbed enough maybe? Maybe we need to do it twice, because it seems to be grabbing different bits each time. It's grabbed the outside bits now. There we go. We've got 2 layers of that there. Adjust the range. I think I did it on the max, it could be, but we'll see how this works. Yeah, it's still not grabbed enough, even with the 2 layers. I mean, it's definitely the right approach, because I can see already, even though it hasn't done it 100% right, that it looks better than how the colour overlay did. It doesn't look as dull. But really, I want to turn his whole face, the reddish pink face we've got here, into a more orange colour. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do, but the outside bit, it hasn't properly grabbed, so I wish we could see this pop up a bit bigger so you guys could see, but okay, well, I used the eyedropper that time. Let's see how it looks this time. It's a learning process, guys. One day I'll be the best at this. Okay, so it's still doing it. It's still not grabbing the outer side. Even though it looked like it did, I could have sworn it did. It hasn't. Because it totally looks like it has when I've done that. It looks like it has. But it hasn't. It's got to have done it there. It's got to have done it there. I'm getting confused because there's just so many layers here. And I don't know what's what. Yeah, it's not behaving. This isn't for me. It's really struggling to colour in those darker colours. I'm trying to think, how many colours does this have? Because, you know, part of me wonders whether it's just easy to do the whole thing manually. If there's only 4 colours here, then, you know, sometimes... Thank you, Moon. Hi, Draco. How you doing? Yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, I think the colour range is effective in grabbing what we want, but sometimes it's not behaving itself because I'm really not grabbing these darker colours here. These ones here, the dark purples. Even though I've tried, it's only getting the middle, the lighter ones. So part of me is like, should I just do it manually and just grab them like that? And it's because there's some like random purple bits in parts that shouldn't be, you know, and that can be a bit weird. I'm just gonna see what happens if I do it like this. I'm starting to get patient with selective colour. See, impatient with it. I'm not getting orange. Then I'm impatient. I want orange. You probably have the colour selector trying to pick a particular range, but yeah, you could. Yeah, I've probably not got it set up right, in all honesty, because I'm a noob. But I'm one of these people that sometimes doing it the hard manual way works better, because I don't have to rely on a tool and using it wrong. Then I can just do it manually. But yeah, I want to just know the best way of changing the colour now. Hang on, what's going on here? I need to delete these layers badly, because there feels like there's dozens and I'm confused. Okay, so how my life would have been much easier if I just accepted the colour overlay. We'd have had uglier icons, but but I'm never satisfied. That's the thing. One of my traits is being a perfectionist. Sometimes I like that, and other times I don't. I'm worried we're going to get something like very weird looking now, because I'm not sure I'm personally changing these colours how they should be changed. I mean, I think it looks good. It could look good, but colour balance. Let's try using colour balance instead, because selective colour's not behaving for me. I mean, we're sort of getting there. You know what I mean? He's looking a bit more orange now. There's just a few spots on him that are pink that need changing. And when we look at how it looked originally, which I'm not even sure if we've still got that layer anymore. Have we? Is that it? I don't even know. Definitely looks better like that than how it looked with the colour overlay. Just needs tidying up. Did you make a duplicate later? Hi Binary, how you doing? It's good to see you. Right guys. Let's just get everything back. Because I like to see all the icons. I want them all back, to be honest, because it's hard to give colours when you can't see what the... I'm going to just delete all the layers. I'm going to delete them all. There's too many here. That's better. Delete all the layers. I know there's a bazillion there and it's confusing. Okay. Yeah, I'm not satisfied still. I'm not. So I'm thinking of just restarting, but I don't know if I'm going to do that now, because it's one of those things, messing with visuals and to me and editing, that I can get very fussy about. And a lot of the time, it looks worse before it looks better. And then my mood is visible that I'm getting salty. And I don't want you guys to have to see that. So, right. Oh no. Oh no, indeed. Right, so... I'm glad though you guys have showed me some methods. I mean, that's better than not knowing, and it's something to consider now for when I do the re-editing. You know, let's just go back to the start. Let's just go back to the beginning. Thank you, Moonshadow, for the host. It's always a struggle to learn something new, yeah. For sure, it's not something that can just be done in 5 seconds, even though you want it to. It's never that easy. No worries, Moon. Okay, so just looking at them here, you can see how like different that looks to how the one we was doing looked. And it's gonna look better. It's gonna look better with this method that we're gonna be going for. That's for sure. It's gonna take a bit of time. Should we do it now? What else are we gonna do? I mean, if we're not gonna do this, it'll just be battle system, skill implementing in RPG Maker, and that could be more frustrating because I'm in the middle of doing some really weird, like complex formulas to get some of Rosie's drain working, and I want to do that off stream, in all honesty, because it requires a lot of testing. So I will do this today. It'll be chill. I've got to just learn to be patient. I can be very impatient when it comes to editing. I expect to get it done in 5 seconds, but no, that's not how things work. So let's be patient and do this again. But this time we're gonna, you know, get rid of all the layers so I don't get confused. We're going to make a new file as well, because doing it on this file, I don't like doing it on this one, because let's lock this background. Okay, why are they together? Okay. There, finally. Okay. Let's put them all next to each other. And I'm actually going to get rid of the colour. I'm going to completely delete that colour overlay. In fact, I'm not. I want to compare them. I want to actually have proof that these new orange versions we're doing are going to look much prettier, because that'll be super satisfying to see that they actually do look better. So we'll keep the old versions underneath. Alright, so we've got a few methods we can do this. We've got the colour range thing, or we can do it manually. Okay, I think a good thing to do is to get a colour palette. We're going to have to think of the orange that we want to use for Warrior. Because then we can consistently bring in that same colour. See, I want it to be more of a yellow orange, I think. Because we have a Pyromancer class that nobody's taken yet, but I feel that would be the orange one. But, you know, some classes might share the same colour because we're going to have quite a lot of classes. So there might be more than one that are orange, but we can use different oranges, yes, I suppose. Okay. So I'm trying to go about this in an organised way now. So we got an orange here. Should that be our orange? Might want a couple of different ones. Also, this brown here, we might want to like bring that brown in consistently on the others. Brown and orange go quite well together, so we'll see. Let's see how it goes. I have another question, sure. Feel free to ask. And by the way, 20th question, which is the cutest monster in all of Final Fantasy, in your opinion? Oh, you're going to be horrified when I tell you which one I think is Moonshadow. The Marlboro is my favourite monster. I think that's the cutest one. The big, the one that uses the breath. What's it called again? I forgot. Oh my goodness. What's the name of that famous Final Fantasy ability that the Marlboro uses? Because in some games it's called a Marlboro and in others it's called a Marble. Bad breath, that's the one. Do you think that one's cute? And have you tried overlaying that orange layer over the original and then lowering the opacity of the orange layer and see how it looks? We could try. I mean, I'm all for experimenting. And we can... because, you know, if there is a quick method of doing this, I'm all for it. Saves us a lot of time and energy. Wow, that kind of did work. I lowered the opacity to 50% and it's sort of got us a nice orange there. Let's do it to the others though, because just because it's worked for that one doesn't mean it'll work for the others. You know, this is actually surprisingly working from what I'm seeing. I mean, we can still see the green in that one a bit. So I'm not so sure about that one, but I feel like it did a decent job for those first two because they're a little bit more simplistic. And I suppose they were quite close to orange anyway. But, you know, I feel like doing that has made those three in particular look better. You can see the orange. The orange is clearly there in the colour scheme, but in a better way than how it looks on the bottom row ones. What do you reckon? Yeah, it could work for some. Some might need a bit of an edit because green is very different from orange. Then they are tinted rather than you going insane trying to do all of them. I know. I mean, the good thing is about this whole way we're doing it, we're only doing 4 skills at a time for each of the classes in the game. So it's not too much of a burden compared to if, say, we did like 50 classes for every single one straight up. That would be overwhelming. Hiya, Kane. How are you doing? Do you use a custom engine for the game? Oh, yeah, never mind. You see the title. Yeah, here's a command about the program that we use if you want to have a peep. But welcome to a stream. Hope you're having a good day. Right, so I'm still, you know, as you can see, I'm still very hesitant to manually edit. I'm just experimenting to see if we can get more of an orange here. I don't like selective colour anymore. I'm breaking up with it. It's too confusing sometimes. There we go. I've changed the sample size and that makes me grab things a little easier, which is nice. So I'm just going to grab these green bits. I mean, I think that these tips here are fine because they're already a bit orange. I think I've grabbed the background as well there, but it doesn't matter. Rose Rage. Look at that Carol emo. Look at Carol. She's the MVP. Hi Nungi, how you doing? Oh yeah, you've not heard of it? Yeah, it's a pretty accessible, easy to pick up software. And it's great if you don't want to have to focus too much on the card side of things. You want to focus more on the actual world building and story. Ew, see what I mean about hue and saturation and what it's done. That's some awful looking colours there. Sometimes putting it on colourize helps a little though. The colour, how the colours look. They still look a bit dull though. Damn it, it's not grabbed that for some reason. Yeah, this is the difficult one, this plant, for some reason. If we want to be lazy, we could just use this one. We could just use it, but let's just change the colour overlay to one that's closer to a colour we've got. Yeah. I just want them to look super pretty, guys. I want the icons to look amazing. And I'm being a massive fuss pot. I'm like, can we make it look better? Because look how beautiful they are here. They are coming out with a new version, RPG Maker MZ, this summer. They are indeed. What language are you scripting, or is it the drag and drop kind? It is JavaScript. It's up to like you as the developer how much code you do in RPG Maker. Like if you want to be a bit more if you want to make it a bit less vanilla than it already is, you can you had the freedom to do the code yourself and add your own scripts. But it's great if you don't want to, because you can still create something and get it up and running in a reasonably decent amount of time, even with zero code. Not exactly, yeah. It's definitely, it's all like done with, you know, the editor in RPG Maker, really. But I haven't used many other engines other than RPG Maker, so I've got nothing to compare it to. I've heard of Stencil. I have heard of that one. Okay. I think trying to figure out what it is that's bothering me about the colour overlay on that one. I think I just want a bit more contrast with the background and the leaf. Because I love the colours in this. Is super nice how the colours look in that. But I feel like when it's been recoloured, it just don't look as good for that one. And it makes sense because it's just a colour overlay over, and it didn't really do the others justice as well. I mean, I tried to put that over and it sort of works, but you can still see. Maybe I should just raise the opacity a bit for that one. It's a bit yellow, but if we make it, just change the colour overlay a little bit. Hi Chubb, how you doing? And thank you Kane for that follow, by the way. So it's more of a program for non-programmers then. Sounds nice for a dev artist to be able to prototype ideas. Yeah, it's great because it allows you to focus on the other sides of game development, because there's so much to game development. It's not just about code, is it? You're like, there's so much. And I know that it helps save me a lot of time to focus on other areas, like the actual building of the world and all the creative things like this. For example, we get to spend more time being nerdy and all of this kind of thing too, rather than spend 90% of the project in the code. Non-programmers should have an easier time picking it up as a large community, yeah. And if you want to make a retro RPG, 2D RPG, it's all that. It's the perfect thing for that. If you want to make another genre, it's probably not the ideal engine. But if you happen to want to be making an RPG, a retro style one, then it's perfect, really. I like the artwork, wish I had pixel art skill. My options are stock, free assets, or my own programmer art. Yeah, and that's the good thing, because I'm not really doing most of the art for this. Sometimes I do create original art, but not much, because I like to spend time on the other stuff. But, you know, there's a lot of resources out there for those of you that don't want to spend the time doing the art as well. There's so many asset stores and even free assets on community forums online that people are putting out. So if you're not skilled in art, there's always those options. Did you see the PS5 thing, Rose? I didn't watch it, no, but I did hear about it. I saw on the Twitter some people talking about it. So, yeah. Are you getting a PS5, Chubb? Okay, so what did it look like before? Oh. I got rid of the colour overlay. Let's paste that again. There we go. So the bottom row is how they look on the colour overlay, and the top row is how they look when you, with the technique Van mentioned, the quick technique. We're just overlaying a layer over, and I think I prefer how the top layer looks than the bottom layer. It just looks a little bit more vibrant. But I'm still not sure about if that orange is a bit too orange. Let's just I think that's the best we're gonna get it. I like the top layer better too. Yeah, I think it's a definite improvement. Delete these ones now. Okay, so let's do Hunter and Vampire as well. Okay. So I've got to look at what the winners were of this one now. So the first one, Wing Shot, the winner was by far D. Everybody wanted D. So there we go. Can we just take it in here quickly? There we go. That's better. Can put it all on the same area then. And then it was number 2. This one was the winner. And for the third one, the pool. Everybody liked the pool best, which surprised me. That everybody went for the pool over one of the actual wolves. But you know, and it'll probably make it a little bit easier to do the owl and fox, because I don't think there was assets for foxes and owls. But foxes and wolves have the same paw print, so we'd probably have to think of another symbol to represent the fox. And I'm not sure what symbol. We could use a wing to represent the owl. I mean, I don't know if we'd have that as an icon, which in certain cases I might have to make my own icons. You know, because with the summons, we want to be a bit consistent. We don't want the icons to look completely different from each other if it follows a theme, if they're like in a set together. Okay, so Plant Plucker was this one. So we'll do the same thing again, what we did for Warrior, and see how they look. Luckily this is a really quick method to do it, so thank you, Van, for the idea. Because yeah, the other way I would spend like, you know, about an hour on each, and it would have been a time-consuming job. So many cool games. Which one was your favourite game on the thing, Chub? Which one do you want the most? Oh, okay, so we're going to get rid of the colour overlay first on them all. See what I mean? It looks much prettier because you're bringing in different shades of green. And it just gives it a bit more, it just has a bit more life to the icon. Than how it looks when with our other method. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan. We could try other blending modes to see as well. We want to go even further with this. I've stuck a third layer on top now. Yeah, I guess it just changes the exposure a little bit. That one. Not sure if it makes much difference. Okay, vampire. Everybody like this one for Drain. Good choice, guys. I think you can't get more Drain looking on that though. The way that the shape is as well. And everybody liked the foot for Rush. And by the way, the colouring with the vampire is looks a little bit better because those colours were already red anyway. So it might not be as bad to do some of these ones. Yeah, I didn't even put a colour overlay on that one. I think this was the only one that wasn't red originally. That one needs to be quite a high opacity because it starts looking not very red if I have it too low. Just gonna bring up the levels a bit on that one so it doesn't look as dark. Hey, that wasn't the one. What am I doing? I'm silly. I've lost the plot. I've really lost the plot. I brought in the wrong skill icons. Okay, so transaction was the heart. My goodness. I'm like, hang on a minute. Why am I doing them icons? I was like, that's not one of the icons that won. It took me like 5 minutes to realise. I was like, hang on, that didn't win. Neither did that one. They were just the ones in Rush that didn't get enough votes. So yeah, I think it was that heart. Yeah, B that won. And poll 4 was this one. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me today? Okay. we'll need to have a good laugh sometimes about my silly mistakes. If that made you laugh, then that's all that matters. You're still trying to get back into the grid. Yeah, this is what happens when you have a week off. Can't believe I was like doing those icons, making sure they looked all perfect, and then I was like, hang on. Those are the icons. Oh my goodness. I'm glad I figured it out eventually though. Imagine if one of you guys had to point that out for me. I'd have been mega embarrassed. Okay, yeah, I didn't really put a proper red colour overlay over some of these because they were sort of pinkish and red originally anyway. So it made doing the vampire ones a little bit easier. But I want to at least make sure the match and that the red colour scheme is consistent, because these kind of have bluish backgrounds. And that one's got a brownish one. I'm still laughing over that. Yeah, and the blood on this one looks a little bit pink. Hang on, why? Oh, everything kind of just crashed for a second. I'm glad I'm back. So I apologise about the stream lag that happened. Then everything just randomly really just stopped. I thought my computer was going to crash, but it hasn't. So, yay. Welcome back, Aggro. Welcome back. And hi, Tree Baldy as well. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're well. Okay, so one thing I am wondering about is this foot now. So we've got everything like sort of matching, I think. The foot is yellow. Well, you know, it's sort of brown, should I say. So I'm curious how that foot would look if it matched more with the red. So if it was more of a slightly pinky tone, it'd probably be a bit more matching with the colour scheme. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for the 6 months. Ah, thank you very much. 6 months, that's a whole half a year. And you get a new badge as well, that your blood drop gets a little bit darker on 6 months, I think. So awesome, thank you so much, Truebold. Let's have some hype in chat for that. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Okay, what did that? Yeah, we've got it a little bit more slightly pink there. And it doesn't like hurt to have other bring other colours in, I guess. Sometimes, but as long as it goes. Okay, so what do you reckon, guys, about those icons? Those were the ones that won. Huzzah. Thank you for the hype, everybody. The blood gets red. It does. It is. It's a little bit more... Well, it's more pinkish at the moment, but it definitely gets red. Like, look at mine. When I did the high, my blood badge is super red. Okay, so now I'm going to get these saved so we don't lose them. So what now? Because we got quite a few things we need to do. One thing I want to do, I'm going to just open RPG Maker MV and show you guys. But first, let's get it up. Right, so this is the skill tree background when you open up the menu in RPG Maker. So what I'm going to do, I need to merge those two together. We've just got a boring square here at the moment, but this I'm trying to think outside the box doing this, because unfortunately with the skill tree plugin that I'm using, it's fantastic. This plugin is, by the way, but one thing that it doesn't let you do is add an image to the node, to the skill tree node. That by default they're just plain, they're just empty nodes with no colour or no image to them whatsoever. And I was a little bit disappointed because I kind of thought it'd be really cool to have our skill icons on the skill tree, like visible for us all to see. But I've thought of a hack to do it, and I'll talk to you about that today. And got this info from the staff of RPG Maker on the thread about MZ. I would remind people that all the money from the Yamfly plugin sales has gone into a pool to be used to play coders to create something similar. Update the Yamfly plugins to the newest Maker when it's released. So it seems Yamfly stuff will be coming over in some way. Oh, cool. Well, that's nice because they're so valuable. Those plugins have made MV like 1,000 times better than how it originally was. So if MZ didn't have that, it's not going to ever come close to being what MV is, you know, because that just made it so much better. So it's a relief to know that they are going to do something. I mean, yeah, there's still a lot of plugins that I use, specifically the skill tree one, that might never go to MZ. So, you know, for things like that, I have to I can't promise that I'll move to MZ. It could just be a lot of hard work for me to switch now. I've already started in MV, but it might not benefit, you say, but we'll have to see. Look at all these cute emotes, Nunky. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys in a sec what this is all about. So let's just double this to 200. It's on nearest neighbour, which you need it on because otherwise it'd get all pixelated if you didn't have it on nearest neighbour. Oh no, that's too big. It's too big. Hang on. Okay. What size? Hang on. What size are these? These are 128. Okay, so what I might do then, hang on, because I think this is 200 by 200. That's why I might have to just resize the node because it's going to distort it if I have it like that. I think. Look. Yeah, it distorts the pixels. You have to be very careful with pixel art resizing. So we can either keep it at that size or we can have it double. And we might need it double because we need room for the title of the skill. I'm gonna say if that will work. So yeah, I think it's 256 pixels now. So I'm gonna open RPG Maker MV and we're gonna get this skill tree looking pretty. Hi Mess, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? I figured I'd let you know so when it does come out you can actually look over it, and yeah, won't move over either until the engine is actually usable as MV. Yeah, I'm keeping very open-minded about it. It's more swaying towards a no. But if it ever so happened that every single plugin I used ended up being compatible with MZ and MZ was great, and the next gen thing, then yeah, I would do it. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to sacrifice part of the game just for the sake of a new engine. So it all depends. Luckily, we're still in early development, you know. We're doing episode 1 still. It wouldn't be impossible to make the switch. Obviously, if it was halfway through the game, it would be a bit tricky. But it's not impossible if it was something that would benefit. Okay, so hide Photoshop, here we go. See, all these plugins that have got Yap in front are Yamfly plugins. And as you can see, 50% of mine are Yap plugins. but I do use other ones too, which are very valuable. The other ones as well have allowed me to do things that we couldn't do if they didn't exist. Okay. Mod Hunter in particular is very valuable because that's what I use for the battle system UI, and it just allows us to have a customizable UI that isn't the default one, and I'm pretty unsure whether their plugins would be workable on MZ. And sometimes they are. So sometimes the plugin creator gets an MZ, the latest engine version, done, but sometimes it can take years for them to get it working and made. Could you make a border around the skill icon to make it fit in the box, or would the border be too big? Well, that's something I want to show you guys, because what I'm doing here, this is literally the background of, this is going to be a background PNG file, and it's difficult to explain what exactly I'm trying to do here until I show you an example of what the skill tree looks like. But where is it? So Valsky tech tree, here we go. So currently I have it on currently, yeah, you guys, well, I'm gonna see this, it's too small on this menu, but currently it's on 200 pixels, so I'm going to change that 200 to 256 pixels because that's the size of the box that we've got. I'm going to save the image as well that we've got here in Photoshop. It's not going to look right though. I'm going to have to change the position of the image. I'll just save that one. I'm just going to do a quick test play. Our character looks a bit different now. He doesn't look like Jesus, because I did a new game and I just like pressed enter to get this one. Didn't even customize him. Okay, so right, so this is a bit of a mess, this is what I mean. Naturally, there's just these empty nodes, empty squares with absolutely nothing in them, no image. So my idea is to have this background have the image and just position it so it ended up being in the right spot. But there are a few little issues with doing it that way, which I've considered. The first one is when the skill tree gets larger horizontally, the image unfortunately is fixed, so that would be a problem. So I'd have to do different skill trees per episode, because the good thing is with this, you can see at the top, you can have multiple skill trees. So we wouldn't necessarily have to have one long skill tree. We could separate them, maybe by episode release. So that would solve that issue. And the other issue was screen resolution changes as well, because obviously the background would change with screen resolutions, but there was a way to solve that problem too, because I downloaded a plugin. Let's find it. I downloaded a plugin, here it is, called Mush. Mush, I've got so many window captures here. Yeah, the first one here, Mush menu option screen, adds the screen resolution option. So what this plugin does is it lets you have the option of setting the available resolutions for the game. And the one cool thing about it is it also scales the graphic proportions, which definitely makes life a lot easier, because it means I won't have to manually resize and position the assets for different resolutions, because that would be, oh my god, that would be a headache to do. So this plugin just makes things easy, and it would also mean that we could use a background image for what we're trying to do here. It's just for aesthetics, in all honesty, doing it this way, because it looks prettier than having no image at all. I'm gonna get it up again just for a sec, because I want to look at something. I was trying to think, I was thinking, how can I go about adding images if it's not possible? Because I was on the forum, someone actually asked the question that says, can we have images in the nodes? And he said no. I was like, damn it. So this was my idea, to just do the background image, have them there in the background. And as you can see here, there's a box. That box is editable though. We can totally change the look of that box if we want, like the border of it, if we wish. That's not an issue. This is the one that's here is just the default one, but the border can be changed to something else, and the icon that's currently here is going to be changed too, because it's just default. What's the problem with the skill tree between episodes? Yeah, that's, to me, that's fine. I don't think that is a problem. It would just mean we'd instead of having one long skill tree for the whole game, we'd split the skill tree between episodes, which doesn't make it worse or better. It's just a different way of approaching the design of the skill trees. And it might keep things tidier, in all honesty, doing it that way. And it would also make things easier, because we'd obviously, that's how we'd go about designing things anyway. We wouldn't do the skills beyond, because we're on episode 1 at the moment, we're not going to work on episode 2 skills or episode 3 skills. So the only skills that are going to be available for when you're playing episode 1 is episode 1 anyway, episode 1 skills. So it's totally makes sense to kind of do it this way. So yeah. And I don't think there's any, right now, nothing has sprung to mind that's an issue with doing it that way. So we could do this method for now and see how it works. But we need, hang on, I need to go back to the test play, because I need to check the dimensions for something, because a few are going off screen. Oh, is it not possible to make the skill tree scroll horizontally? It is. It is possible, but unfortunately, if we want an image in the background, when it does scroll horizontally, that image will obviously stay in the position it was in. So the images wouldn't scroll with the nodes, if that makes sense. So if we get it up, we just need to we need to lift those nodes up a bit higher, so the image looks like it's in the box. That's what we're going to try and do. But yeah, so if the skill tree it does scroll, the plugin lets you do that, but the images would all look not aligned, because the image stays fixed to the background image. So that is the reason, that was the problem, and that's the reason why I thought of the idea of having a skill tree per episode. because really we've got 4 nodes here, and we've got room for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got room for like potentially at least another 12 nodes here. And I couldn't see us needing more than that for episode 1. You know, the area that's available in this space should be enough for episode 1 content for a class. Oh, you can't make the image scroll. Yeah, it's not possible. It might be possible, but it would take a lot of coding knowledge, and I would have to request the plugin creator do it, because I wouldn't know how to go about it myself. And, you know, it's sometimes the plugin creator's too busy to do that. So you kind of just have to accept what you've got. And think a way around things. But this is workable. I think the way we do this is fine anyway, because it's workable. That's the main thing. It's not going to cause any issues as far as I'm aware. And if we do come across issues, then we'll just have to change it, which is fine. Sometimes you have to. But it might work. So, and it's easy enough to do. Literally just stick the skill icon image behind the node, and there you got it. You got an image. But here's another example. So when you click on the node, this comes up, and this is what I meant by having backgrounds. So this background is just there as an example for now. That's just the default one, but we can use the adrenaline icon to have in this background here as well. And it looked quite cool, I think. But yeah, worst comes to worst and we decide we don't use images for the nodes, we just remove the background and have them as plain nodes, which isn't an issue. It would just make it look a bit more plain. But we'd still have the image here, and we'd still have the skill icon in the skill section as well. So when you learn a skill, the little tiny square, the 16 by 16 pixel, I think it'll be next to the skill in the menu and in battle as well. Oh, that looks so nice, thank you. It's all very basic right now, but we're gonna get it looking pretty. But I want to show you how it works, because it animates and everything, guys. It's really cool. I really like this plugin, and this plugin is why I'm attached to RPG Maker MV, because it's probably not going to come out on MZ. And if it did, it'd be a miracle. So, yep, that's how you learn the skills. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why that appeared there, but there's a little animation when you learn skills and stuff, and then they're all in there. And Frenzy's greyed out because that's a passive skill. So that's an example of how it works. Our job is just to make the skill tree look good now, because right now the image ain't even in the right position, so we've got to get that sorted. That background is really pretty, the one that describes the skills. Yeah, that is one of the RPG Maker MV default images, and it's super pretty. Yeah. Sorry, I had to restart my system. Welcome back. Oh, this one is the skill tree plugin, Van, and it's one of the many plugins I use that will probably only be available on MV, and I'm attached to it, so it's kind of how we're going to have our progression system. So, okay, now let me just have a look at it again. I might do a print screen of this so I can remember how it looks. So, we'll just temporarily get rid of that. I like the little map on the left. How did you create that? Oh, that was one of the first things I actually did. I think I did that on like stream 10 or something. Definitely the first 20 streams. That actually isn't a plugin. That is something I did myself with the help of someone in stream ages ago that kind of assisted me with how to get it working. It's honestly just a picture that I put into RPG Maker, and it was a little bit complex actually to get working. I remember it's not straightforward, but in the end we got it working. But it's just a nice little touch having a mini map, and I will have it so that you as the players, guys, can turn it off if you wish. You don't have to have the mini map on, but some people like seeing mini maps because it's a quality of life thing, and it'll have the quest markers up. But I know some of you don't like having any mini maps. You like to play it blind, so I like to give you guys the option. But yeah, that was ages. To be honest, I'm shocked that I managed to pull that off because it wasn't easy to implement. But it's there, and it's a nice little feature. I'm proud of it. Right, so let me just think a sec what I'm gonna do. So we just need to position this a bit. It was a little bit low, so what I need to do, I just need to go into the plugin and change that to from 120 pixels to 60 pixels, and that should move it up a bit, and it might be in the right position now. We'll have a look. Glad you have a mini map. Yeah, I'm a geek for maps in any shape and form, so that was why I wanted to do it, because I love maps. I love them, and I think it's a nice feature for those of us that are map geeks as well, and like to follow maps and see what's around, because what'll be on the mini map, it'll show you where you are as the player. It'll have indicators for where the enemies are on the field, and it will also have quest markers too, and show where quests are, their destination. That's kind of the goal of the mini map, and I know some people cannot play RPGs without that guidance because they don't like getting lost and they get frustrated. I'm one of those people. So, but then I know there's other people who are more like, who have said they do prefer to not be guided. So they would be the sort of players that would turn the mini map off in the options menu. So it's honestly just preference. It's a preference thing. People like to play things in their own way. Hell, I get lost a block from my own home, need a map. Hi, Dark Mirror. Yeah, I do. I need my maps. Some games I couldn't complete without a mini map. Exactly, and I think having that mini map will just help, because I don't want people getting frustrated, you know, and giving up. Since it will be a while for my character to be put in the game, I might consider redoing his clothes and such to make them a little more original. Just saw some sprites that look pretty cool. Yeah, sure, Van. And like I've said, and I said the same thing to Aggro as well, like if your characters being original are fine as long as their look fits with the rest of the game. That's the only rule. And I've seen both of yours and they look perfect, so there's no issue at all. It's not like they look like they belong from another game or something. Will the enemies move on the field, or will they be stationary shadows like they are now? Oh, they will move. The only reason that particular enemy was still is so I don't have to chase it when I'm tested, because it could be a bit annoying if I'm chasing it. So it was just still for testing purposes to make my life a bit easier. But most of the enemies will move on the field. Some enemies will be stationary. There's a flower enemy that's a stationary enemy because it's a flower and it stays rooted to the spot anyway. But enemies that should move will move. But I'm excited to get everything like really tidied up and working, because at the moment everything is there, but it's a bit messy. So I'll be excited to finally get to the stage where it's playable for you all. And I'll even play it on stream. I'll play through it on stream with you all when it's ready as well. Oh, cool, nice, yay. Okay. Okay, so it's kind of a little bit there, but it needs to just go up a few pixels, probably like 4 pixels or something maybe. But this frame border can be edited, because I think I might give it a little slight edit at some point. But let's try getting all those images in them nodes then. I think we should do that. So hi Rose, hi Forgotten, how you doing? Honestly guys, I appreciate you for hanging out with me, because I thought everyone was going to forget about me when I was off a week. I think every streamer has that worry sometimes. It's so easy to like get into that mindset where you feel you have to be streaming constantly so that people don't forget you. Also, do we need images that are chest up for the character? I just noticed in the pack I downloaded they had a set for chest up for each character. What do you mean by chest up, Van? I'm hungry already. Did I put that up by the way? Yeah, I did. Okay, so we've got that one. Yeah, sure, send me it over a DM, that's fine. Rose being paranoid. Nah, we all think that, us streamers. Part of me might feels like I want to change this outline to match more with that outline, but we'll see. Now, I can't remember now how far away this was. I think it was 100 pixels, so... I'll have a quick look and see what you mean so I can answer you now. Oh, you mean like the busts? I get it now. Well, no. We're not actually using full torso assets for Raindrop Chronicles because it's quite difficult to get assets for that. For the characters we've got, you know, it would require a lot of custom artwork because all we've got of all our characters are their faces and like the very, very top of their necks and shoulders. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think something like that would look great in the menu. The main menu when it opens, when you can see a party, but it would just require a lot of custom art for every single playable character if we were going to have those. So right now, no. Unless I suddenly got rich and could commission someone to do that for every single playable character, then I would consider it. But it's not required at this point. Or in cutscenes, yeah. Well, we're only using the faces for the cutscenes, so for sure. Because that's really, it's a £0 budget game at the end of the day, guys, so I'm poor. We gotta just make the most of what we got. Okay, so I think that's right. So where's Warcry? Warcry has to be the one that goes directly in the middle. Yeah, there's always limitations. I would adore to have like full assets like that, but it's just a lot of work, you know. It would cost hundreds of pounds to get all those characters done. I think we're getting them in the right positions here. We'll have to double check soon. Okay, let's see if that's correct. It's hard to find artists that can do what you want done too. I've commissioned multiple artists for several projects and it never really met my expectations. Maybe I'm just a bit too critical. Yeah, if you're a perfectionist like me, aggro, then that is always... you'll always find yourself never satisfied. It's definitely something I can relate to for sure. But yeah, it's an expensive thing sometimes, and it'd be great if I had the ability to do that. I had all these cool things, but you know, gotta make the best of what you got. Okay. So part of me wants to get rid of the sort of colour that we've got over the images so we can see them a bit more clearly. We'll do that after. I'm just going to print screen that so we can get everything in position properly. I have some work to do. I need to let Rose. Awesome. Good luck with your work, Forgotten. Hope it goes well. Everyone has different thought on what looks good. Beauty in the eye of the beholder. Sometimes it drives me nuts because the same expectations aren't in other fields. Yeah, it's one of the reasons it can be difficult being somebody that works in the creative field for other people, because it's all about pleasing your client, isn't it? And that can be very stressful. Totally get that. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate. This here, hang on, I haven't even got Photoshop up for you guys. This sort of thing here, we get in the images in position. It's very, you just have to keep doing it until you've got it. It's a bit of a trial and error thing. Because I know the dimensions horizontally was 100 pixels, but vertically, I'm not sure. Because the plugin does that itself, so I'm just having to guess. But the good thing is, once we've done it once, then we know what it is for them all then. That's why I don't do many commissions. Yeah, I get it. I get why you wouldn't. I think if I was really good at art and illustration, I wouldn't do it either, because that would, I would, yeah, I kind of just want to make a living for myself, I think, but that's always not always easy either. It's a hard world out there. Now, yeah, I'm trying to work out what on earth is happening here, but they seem like they're too big for the node, which is weird because they're the same size as adrenaline, and adrenaline fit perfectly. So what the hell is happening? Did I not resize those images correctly? I'm gonna have to figure out this. But I think it'll look good when when it's all done and I've got them looking right. This background that I've got here right now is just there for might not be the final one, this star background. I've just had that there as something to sit the images on top of. Let me just see what dimensions these are. Yeah, that should be fine. That's strange. It's a bit of an odd one why those images didn't seem to be in there. I might have to fix that off stream because it seemed like it's a bit of a technical thing. Might be to do with the background stretching or something. I'm gonna look again. Let me print screen that. Okay, I think I know what the problem is actually. These are the borders that are being used for the skill tree, these here. So they are editable, which is a good thing because it just allows us a bit more freedom. But I think what's happening is, hang on, let me think. Just trying to think what borders each one's using. That's using the active one and the others are using the inactive one. Yeah, the borders are the same size, so I don't know. The only difference is one's thicker, but they're the same. But if we want to get rid of the weird colour that's either them, we can just delete them. Have them plain if we want. See how it looks if we do that. Might look a bit strange. Might regret deleting those, but we can get it back if we want to. You always warn them. Always feel bad about asking for revisions too. Yeah. It's a difficult one because you want to please the client, but it's also it's hard work for the artists too, so. And that it's totally worth the money as well, because you know they've got to make a living. And that's why it can be expensive to commission art. Hey, that didn't, for some reason that didn't get rid of the transparency. I'm gonna have to think about this because I've got to get my brain around why those icons aren't fitting in the boxes, because in reality they should be. They're the exact same size as this one on the far left, and the boxes are the exact same size, I believe. Actually they're not, because I see what's happening now. I don't know if you guys can see as clearly as me because the screen's more smaller for you, the game screen. But now I've got rid of the highlighter, I can see that it's coming out of adrenaline as well. So the box is smaller than the image. I need to chop the border off just a touch, the outside, just a couple of pixels. It's just a bit of precise positioning and editing I have to do here for that. Pardon me, I'm getting the burps. But roses as well should... We got one for Rose. Ignore the scary demon. I don't know why that's there. But Rose's abilities are here. So we can do the same for us. They're empty at the moment, but... and of course if you play as the hunter, then the hunter ones would be there instead of the warrior ones. So I just want to like make that pretty, really. The goal is to get the image perfectly in each node. Have a nice background. Maybe have the arrows a bit different too, because I'm not sure I'm a fan of the default ones. And might even put the names of what the builds are as well on the background. We'll see. This is probably something I'm going to perfect over the development. But that's just something to work on, as well as implementing the actual skills. If we look in our database, here's our warrior skills. They're right here. So I've kind of set it up. I'm actually working from the bottom with the player skills, just so I can separate them from, here we go, I'll make them bigger for you, just so I can separate them from the enemy skills, because I'd get all confused if everything was all together. So I've got the first 4 of each of them here. And I've got some gaps as well to save up for the other skills in episode 1. because we got another dungeon coming up soon, so we'll have another 4, I think. And that's why I wanted to ask you guys, what's your opinion on skill bloat? Does anyone know what skill bloat is? Because some people hate skill bloat and other people might not mind it. But what skill bloat is, from what I know, it's when a game has too many skills. Like, what is the max amount of skills you guys can handle? And that's when I came across a plugin and thought about this. Hang on. There's a Discord. Yeah, there's this plugin. Battle equip skills. What that is a way to actually, it limits the number of skills you can take into battle. If we want, we can do that. So we don't have to have, like, say, 30 or 40 skills plus over time. I mean, this is something that doesn't matter at the start of the game because we've only got 4 skills anyway. But obviously, as we develop the game, we're going to get more and more skills, and we can have a skill bloat problem. And it could become a bit overwhelming and that you wouldn't know what to use in battle. And part of me likes the idea of having a equipable skill system, because that way it's a little bit more tactical and you guys can have your own metas. And it makes me think it's an interesting thought anyway. Here we go. So yeah, this plugin creates a new gameplay mechanic where players have to choose which skills to bring into battle. So I could say you can only bring 8 skills into battle or 12, and and that way you have to be tactical and smart about which ones you're going to use, rather than just be allowed to use 30 or something. But we hadn't really considered how many skills we're going to have in the whole game, because it's thinking ahead a bit, that which is a thing, and that's something that we don't really do in this project because we do it as we go along. But it could be smart to think about how many skills, like the ideal amount of skills in this game per class, and also think about if we did want an equipable skill system to make things feel a bit less overwhelming with choice and the skill bloat thing. Anyway, hi Rex, how you doing? I don't really do that. My problem is more I give them directions and they interpret them a different way. Nowadays I try to find references to explain my directions better, because I can understand how they could be confusing, although some of the artists I commissioned aren't primarily English speaking, but their art style was very original and I love that. Yeah, for sure. And I've not really commissioned much. I've commissioned a couple of times and I've had a good experience. But I can get why sometimes that might happen on aggro, for sure. Depends on how you're setting it up. Hi Alt! If you have multiple classes and separate skills for each, and it gives flavour to have different names, visuals, even if they have similar effects. However, if you're using a single set of generic skills, then I feel it's better to have options for customisation along with the default skill assignment. Let me read that again. Yeah, every playable character will have different skills. So the warrior will be different to the vampire. Everybody's skill tree is going to look different, basically. They are all specialists in their own unique class. So that's cool. And of course, in episode 1, this doesn't really matter because you'll have less than 10 skills per playable class in episode 1. You know, you're not going to have 30. the point in the game. But over time, like when we do get to later episodes, we could end up with a skill blight problem for each of the classes. But it just makes me think of like things like card games, because with card games you can only take, you know, you have decks, don't you, and you have to choose what your decks are. You don't just have a whole faction and you can use every single card in that faction in a card game. You have to pick your deck. And that's why I thought of the idea of an should we have equipable skills, because that way you kind of have to pick, and it's a bit more tactical, and there's a bit of a meta there then of which ones you're gonna have, and everybody might have a different approach and what skills they like most. And yeah, for an example, if you look at Guild Wars 1, the skill system had hundreds of options for skills and basically no limits on what skills you could equip. But if you wanted, say, necromancer skills on your ranger, you had to go and earn them by killing many bosses. Every class started with our own set of skills and had access to elite skills via leveling, but all of them were technically available for every character. Oh right, interesting. Yeah, Raindrop Chronicles, it's all gonna just be separate skills for every single playable character, because that gives an incentive then to use another character over another. If everybody was the same, it's not going to make an individual playable character feel unique really for our game. So it just kind of encourages the player to use a certain character, because at the moment we've only got 2 playable characters, but eventually we're going to have a whole bunch, and there'll be a party picker system, and you'll get to pick which 4 you want in your party out of the many that are in the game. And I like that because certain classes will work well against certain bosses better than others, and it's fun. I think it's fun. Oh my goodness, I'm hungry. Super hungry. Okay, so where were we? Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up because it's something I've thought about. I've thought, oh yeah, over time each of our classes could definitely get quite a lot of skills, and that I just know that skill bloat, I'm not particularly fond of loads of skills personally, and I know others aren't either, because it's it gets a bit much. But I do like lots of skills, don't get me wrong, but so sometimes it's hard to explain what I'm trying to say, really. Rambling. But yeah, it's just a design decision with the battle system, and because I've been doing the UI at the moment, and that includes skill menus, if we're gonna have a limited skill equip system, it's gonna look, the UI for that would look different to if we allowed everybody to use every single skill. So it's something that came into my mind when working on the UI recently, because right now I do actually have that plugin equipped. It's right here, because I wanted to see what it was like and how it worked, because I was curious. It sounds like you already have a skill selection system via character selections then. Yeah. If I'm trying, I think I know what you mean. It's just that even the characters will have a lot of skills. I don't think I'm articulating myself properly, but yeah. Okay, I'm trying to think what we could do next. Because there's a lot of, honestly guys, there's a lot of technical stuff for me to do, a lot, and I don't like doing that on stream much. I like doing that off stream, so that's why we've kind of been doing a lot of visual stuff on stream lately, like the skill icons. So that might end up with players having decision fatigue. You have to pick the character, then the skill. So you have to remember who has what skills available to them, and the options explode into an expansional tree as you add classes. Decision fatigue. By that, do you mean like when you get lots of skills, you get overwhelmed by the choice? Is that what decision fatigue means? Because, yeah, it's not something that's an issue right now because we're so early game. But I do like to think ahead. Of course, it's because eventually we will be having more skills. And it's nice to have a sort of idea in mind of the best direction to take the skills in terms of quantity of them. Because I don't have a number in my head of how many skills there'll be per class right now. As you make decisions, you run out of the ability to focus as well on later choices. Yeah. 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 I think this is something that we could always put a poll up, because I'm at the point where I don't know if lots of skills or not as many skills is the best direction to go. But even if like we have a lot of skills, I still think somehow we need to have some sort of skill selection picker, because I know, I'm trying to think. It's a tough one. All the time in my gaming collections, I just don't even pick games to play and do something else. Because I know what I'm like when I've played RPGs. I just end up using attack all the time. Because I get lazy. When there's a lot of skills, I end up getting lazy and just pressing attack. I grind loads, get the ultimate weapon, and just attack every enemy. And I don't want to do that with this game. I don't want this to be a game where everybody just uses attack to beat the bosses. I want a bit more strategy in it, and for the skills to actually be useful and benefit. And honestly, I do that because I get overwhelmed by all the skill choice sometimes. And a lot of games, well, Final Fantasy anyway, lets you just still beat the bosses by attacking them all. So, you know, it's the lazy way and it works. So, for example, trying to think about all the repercussions of the skill count while trying to design a game. For me, I'd rather have skills I can upgrade, yeah. And I can see that being something we do. Like if we, for example, look at Warcry, just as an example. There could be a Warcry upgrade that is still Warcry, but just a stronger version of Warcry that is just does it for longer, the provoke. So that, for example, is provoke an opponent for 3 turns. Did we? Was it 3 turns? I thought it was 1 turn in our description. Don't know why it's different there. But, you know, it would be a bit better at the upgrade, and the upgrade just keep getting better. And same with all the others as well. But not tons of skill. Yeah, so Van there seemed like he's not into the skill bloat thing then. Personally, I prefer classes to have unique passive and shared skills that can be upgraded. Yeah, passives are cool. Friends is a passive here. And I think that's we need a good balance between passives and active skills. We've got Warrior's got 1 passive. Hunter's got 1 passive with Plant Plucker. And Rose actually has no passive, so I think it'd be cool to actually get a passive in for her in the next bunch of skills. But yeah, I do like different skills on each character, so they only, yeah. So Elle likes shared skills, Van likes different skills, and we are 100% having different skills in this game just because because we have different playable characters with their own unique classes. It only makes sense to have them be different, so they can all be used, you know. Otherwise you guys will just leave some in the party picker and never use them if they were all the same. Hi Billy, how you doing? Gives each character there, exactly, and I think that was something that I wanted to do with this, for them all to stand out as specialists in their class, and it to always be like that. So for example, Van's character would never be able to learn vampire skills because they're exclusive to Rose, and Van's skills are exclusive to him, and aggro skills are exclusive to him. I play Final Fantasy 14 and trying to figure out long rotations is just a pain. I play as a summoner main and suffered for a while now, even though they've simplified it. But yes, and I'm actually glad you've mentioned that game, because that was one I was thinking of when I was talking about this, just when I was talking about skill bloat. The Final Fantasy 14 was actually one that was guilty of doing that in my mind, because when I come back to that game after a break, I always end up having a break from it after a while. I hadn't played it for about 8 months, and then I returned to it, and I didn't have a clue what was going on. I'd forgot all the rotation, and I didn't have a clue. It took me like a week to get back into it all. And I find that a bit, for me, I don't particularly enjoy that, having to memorize this long rotation of skills, but some people might. Maybe that's just me and some others that think that way. But I know that I had one friend that actually refused to even play Final Fantasy 14 because of the skill bloat. They said they will just play Elder Scrolls Online because that doesn't have skill bloat apparently, whereas Final Fantasy 14 frightened them because with all the skills. Trent tagged you in my tweet a few days ago and wanted to come say, oh, that's you, welcome to stream. I remember that tweet. It was very sweet. It's very nice that Trent thinks so highly of me. It meant a lot. But welcome, Billy. I hope you're having a great week. How are you doing? I can only imagine what it's going to be like when they get up to 150 levels. Yeah, I tried Final Fantasy 14, but it was a bit overwhelming for me, yeah. So that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about this, really, because it's something to consider. I mean, luckily, we're very early on. We've only got 4 skills for each right now. And at the stage things are with these skills, all of these skills are very upgradable. So if we wanted to like have less skills but have them be upgradable, I think that's totally doable with the ones we've got. Although the way that things are, it all works by percentage at the moment. Like, as you can see with adrenaline, the attack and defense increase by 25% for 3 turns. Now, the fact that it's percentage means that that skill might not need to be upgraded, because with percentage, it's not just a flat number, it's a percentage, which means that it will still remain valuable even mid-game or end-game, because your stats had, if you get what I'm saying. But if it was flat, if it was increase attack and defense by, say, 3 for 3 turns, then it would become a bit useless mid-game, and it would need an upgrade to another skill. But I mean, if we had an upgrade from adrenaline and it was increase attack and defense by 50%, would that be too OP even for an upgrade? Just something to consider of how we'd handle the skills if we were going to have an upgrade system. I'm good, thank you. How's your day? So what's this about? I've not seen it before. Oh, we make an RPG game here, Billy. It's like a collaboration project. I build it, and me and Chat, we talk about it and we shape it all together. But if you want to have a peek, we do have a few commands. I see the bot already did that command anyway. But if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. We have a website, although the website is in dire need of an update with new content. I wish that Final Fantasy XIV would have a decrepitated set of skills, so I could remove a stack of them from my skills bar that is swarming with icons right now. A set of skill. What do you mean by a decrepit? Sorry, that's a new question to ask. I'm actually very curious, because I want to take what you guys are saying right now and consider it for what we're doing with our game. So I want clarity on what that means, what Van said about removing them. Once you go down one skill tree, can you get the other skills from the other branches? Good question, Aggro. You can. So say if you decide to go, hang on, let's get our Draw.io document up, because it's a lot easier to talk about things if we cannot see it. So for example, with Warrior, if you decide you want to be a tank and you want Warcry first, you're not locked down that. You will be able to pick Frenzy and Squish it too if you wish. So really, by the end of episode 1, you could have unlocked every single skill if you want, but I'm going to do it, so you'd have to grind if you wanted to do that, I'd say if you were going to go through episode 1 by not grinding, you would probably maybe have only realistically unlocked one of the branches, perhaps, with the amount of class points you'd gain from battles. That's kind of the goal anyway. But if it's not, we're not going to prevent you from grinding and unlocking other branches if you wish. I think that's probably the best way to do it from what we've talked about in other streams anyway, because nobody likes to be limited. People don't tend to like to be limited from grinding. They like the option to do it if they can, but at the same time, the game should still be beatable without grinding. It's about getting that balance right. This won't be like Path of Exile. That skill tree hurts to look at hundreds and hundreds of them. Yeah, we're going to be a lot more simplistic than Path of Exile. I think simplicity is important. And, it's episodic. So if we're going to have a skill tree per episode, it's not going to be like this, because the content in episode 1 isn't going to be enough to have a massive, huge skill tree just in episode 1 alone. They're kind of going to be like mini skill trees, I suppose. That's how I see them anyway. But still, still, you know, mini skill trees, but not linear, because we've got 3 branches per class here. So there's still some kind of choice. There's not just like, oh, you can only go down one path. There's still a build structure. Love the tiles. Thank you. Appreciate that, Billy. Say you have Warcry and then get a new power that is better. You are shown that the new power is better and then can remove it from your set. Like, when you say a new power, do you mean a skill that is an upgrade from Warcry, or a new skill altogether, like a brand new skill that you've learnt? Could I make a skill in my skill tree at the end that is a pre-risk from all the branches? I think it would be very fitting for my character. I'd say that for every single playable character, they'll all follow very closely to the same template. But say if, in an example of like it just differs a touch, that's okay. Like if you wanted to do something like that, but as long as it doesn't like stray from the template too much, if that makes sense. So I'd say that, you know, we'll keep that 3 build template for everybody. I think that's a good structure to have. But if like there was one skill that was that could be okay. I'd say, yeah, let's 90% stick to the template perhaps. But yes, if it works for your character, then I'm not going to say no. Yeah, a new upgrade to Warcry, yeah. I think that's important, because it would be annoying, wouldn't it, to have all these upgraded skills and then have them all there in the box. And then you don't know which one to pick. I think that's the reason why I thought about having this plugin, because it at least limits what's on your in the skill box. You know, you're not like, when you open the skill box, I find it personally overwhelming to have like all these dozens of skills shoved in my face every time I open the skill box. So having like something where you choose which ones you want to equip, that would personally be appealing to me, because I could pick the skills that I feel I like the most for the characters. But yeah, it's something to consider right now that I'm thinking about, because Final Fantasy 12 doesn't really make it clear if something is better. No, it doesn't, does it? It's very vague with descriptions. I mean, Final Fantasy 14. I don't know why I said 12 then. Yeah, it's very it can be very confusing. You really need to watch a guide to understand. But as you can see with this plugin, I mean, is in the menu, you've got slots and you can pick which skills you want to have. I mean, there's only 4 here, but we can have more if we want than that, because 4 isn't a lot. And so some people don't like being restricted and being limited on the skills I have, but in my opinion, sometimes it makes you, it forces you to think a bit more, and it makes things a bit more strategic in battle, rather than just having every single skill available to you and just doing whatever and just, you know, pressing whatever to win. In my mind, I meant like the final skill would be like in the second row with a line from all 3 rows. So like, do you mean the final skill of the whole game, by the way, or the final skill of episode, well, whenever the first episode your character appears in? But yeah, I think it would be cool to think of like a template of how the standard template for a character would be for the whole game. It's very hard to do though, because we don't know how many episodes are going to be in Raindrop Chronicles, so it's a tricky one. Hang on, we need some space. Oops, we haven't got everything. Where's adrenaline? We can just play around and do something very rough as a guide. So let's just get a box here just for a. So episode 1. Dungeon 1, say. We'll just call it Dungeon 1. And that the Dungeon 1 is the Everbloom Forest. So I kind of see it as in Everbloom Forest, you'd only really get enough class points to unlock those 4 skills at max. And that's if you grinded as well. And then Dungeon 2 would be the cave. Underneath Everbloom. Well, it's underneath Lakefall, isn't it? Not Everbloom. So the cave underneath Lakefall, it would be the second dungeon. And that would be when you can unlock the next skills. But I suppose you could be those two. Put that there. And then we don't know what's coming after because we have no idea. We haven't planned the next dungeon yet. But of course, there probably will be another area that's grindable in episode 1 before the end. Maybe. I mean, I'm not 100% sure yet because Dungeon 2 might be big and we might have Dungeon 2 do that because we're already at the end of Main Quest 2. And then we've got Main Quest 3 for the cave, and that also might go into Main Quest 4. So we might only have the 2 dungeons, but actually, what am I thinking? Side quests. We're probably not going to get side quests. It's more that what am I talking about? Yes, we're going to get side quests. Ignore me. What I meant to say was we're probably not going to get more dungeons that are official dungeons for the main quest, but we get areas that you can grind in that are involved in the side quests, if that makes sense. So I could see that as being side quest areas, and that would unlock more of the tree. So I'm just rambling on a bit here, but I'm trying to think ahead, guys, of how big our skill tree would potentially be here, even if it's only something really rough. And I'm just going to put the squares there just so we've got something. I'm not really sure, just curious, just thought it would entice people to grind. Love the grind to make my characters OP, yeah, for sure. And I think like the whole run through the Everbloom Forest, the first run, the 6 maps from Lakefall to the Fruit Boss, the 6 maps. I think I'm going to try and plan it so that the CP that you gain would be enough to unlock 2 of the skills. The first one and one of the ones in the branches of your choice. So by the time you get to the Fruit Boss, you have to choose out of these 3 which one you find the most valuable for you. And you would only be able to unlock the 2nd or 3rd if you did extra grinding. So that's kind of the plan. You could say if you think, I'll have Warcry, but then you think, well, I really want Frenzy and Squish It too. You'd have to do the grinding to unlock those. And I'd say, so the plan is if you're going to do the whole of episode 1 with very minimal grinding or 0 grinding, you'd have only really unlocked, say, 1 branch. 1 linear branch out of the bunch. So if you want to be unlocking the others, you'd have to grind. But you wouldn't be able to go to the later squares, the later skills, unlockable skills. Like, for example, you couldn't like be here and then just unlock that one. You have to start from the top of Bruiser to unlock the ones later on in Bruiser, if that makes sense. But you'd have the option to unlock them. But yeah, the arrows would be... Draw out can be a pain sometimes with dragging the elements around the screen. But yeah, I'm just trying to think here. So realistically, episode 1, it'd probably be around that size, maybe, the skill tree. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So maybe 10 skills, maybe. And some of these might be stat boosts, by the way, in between skills. That's what the diamonds are. So there'd be attack plus to the attack plus to the defense. So for warrior, it'd be attack and defense that they'd probably have the pluses in for the stats. But for something like hunter, it would be agility. I'm not sure. Maybe critical for hunter. Actually, everybody would have different stat buffs based on their class. But yeah, the arrows would come off here, so you won't be able to unlock the later ones unless you'd unlocked the previous ones in the branch. So this looks a little bit of a mess right now, but yeah, so for example, in the future episode, it probably makes sense for them to have the same template. Maybe the future episodes wouldn't have that first skill, though. It'd go straight into carrying on with... It's hard to say, actually. It's a tricky one thinking about it, because it's not going to be possible to carry on down the same branch if we use a separate skill tree per episode. It's almost like starting again. I have to think about that one, because I thought it'd be pretty cool to have separate skill trees per episode, and I'm sure it could be doable, but that is one thing I've just thought of now. Right, oh, you wouldn't be able to, like, say if you'd done all of the War Chief build by episode 1, and then you hit on episode 2, and all of a sudden it lets you go into the second episode skills of Champion and Bruiser, but you've skipped the ones from episode 1. That wouldn't make much sense. So I'm going to think about that. And thank you, Twins and Plays, for that follow. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, that's just me talking out loud and having a think about how it's going to work. But yeah, I'd imagine each of the episodes would follow a similar pattern, whether we have separate skill trees or all on the same. It would follow a similar pattern. But if, say, you wanted to do something like you said, like have a skill right at the end that's that's laid out in a certain way, that would be fine. I don't think that's an issue to have the skill tree change just a touch, you know. It's not, I'm not going to like say you've got to be 100% rigid to this template, you know. This is just a template, and if something like, for example, has to go off, like a skill is like separate or has to be learnt by all three, maybe, you know, we can, as long as the plugin allows it, then yeah, it's doable. As long as the plugin lets you do it, which I don't see why it wouldn't, as long, you know, it's a pretty good skill tree plugin. My phone died, I missed it. What didn't you think about? I've forgotten. You'll have to look at the VOD, because I forgot what I was talking. I always forget what I was talking about when I go on a ramble. But yeah, I've just been having a ramble about the skill tree. So yeah, guys. I'm glad we had some chats. I had to get some thoughts off my chest and hear some opinions, because these are all very important decision making things that we have to do. And what was I going to say? Something else. So yeah, let's have a quick look at the Trello again. So this is what we've been working on. Do skill tree for playable characters, warrior, hunter and vampire. First 4 skills only, which is what we're doing. So it's the weekend now, isn't it? I'm going to get these skills implemented. I'm going to finish getting them implemented. These are all of them. So I'm going to implement them all. Make sure they're all working. Some of them are already implemented, but not all. Make sure they're all working. And they're on the skill trees, which they already are. But I want to add their images to the skill trees as well. And then what? So I do have to do the animations and sound effects for those as well, but that could be something that we could do on stream, but it could, you know, we'll see, because then we can move on to the fruit boss as well, because that's something that needs to be done. Right, guys. I'm ready for my dinner. I hope you guys have got a fun weekend planned. Cheese and Doritos. Or tortillas or whatever. Now I'm more hungry. Are you going to have cheese and chips? Nope, I'm not. I actually don't know what I'm going to have for din-dins. Actually not sure. It's a surprise today. Probably drawing for me and figuring out those sprites. Awesome, guys. So what I'll be doing this weekend is just doing some of the technical stuff involving the skills. Because it's not perfect at the moment. Some of those skills aren't working properly. So that's going to be my #1 job. And we're definitely going to just be carrying on with this next week, whether it's finalising the skills and giving them some sound effects and animations, or moving on to the fruit boss and making sure that that boss battle is awesome as possible. It'll be one of those that we do next week anyway. What's a Tim Tam? What's a Tim Tam? Right, anyway, guys, I'm going to pass this on to someone who's streaming. We were talking about Final Fantasy 14 earlier, so I'm going to pass this on to a Final Fantasy 14 streamer. Coincidence. Play a couple of games and watch anime. All fun. Chocolate biscuits in Australia. Yeah, I've never had those. I'm missing out. So I'm going to send us to Robbie, who is playing Final Fantasy 14. And I will see you guys on Monday. Have an awesome day, everybody. And well, awesome weekend. I'll see you Monday. Thanks for hanging out for all the chats.